Yeah, I got to comment a little bit about the drama story about getting your money out of the banks. You know, don't go throwing eggs and tomatoes at me right now because, I saw something. Well, I listened to Jim Rogers. Actually, I looked down the news unit. He had something posted there. I was listening to Jim Rogers, and basically, he did say one line out of there about run for the hills. But that's not exactly what he's doing. He's not taking all his money out of the bank. He's just making sure it's spread around. And, you always keep your money below the threshold, depending on how much money you have. And, I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, I have not, I haven't used like Chase Manhattan or Bank of America or Citibank or any of those other. I don't like those people, man. And I've dealt with a lot of this garbage, man, at the banks and stuff. I had to fight them over all kinds of crap all the time, right? For people I work for. And, it's like, I used credit unions since the 80s, right? I mean, hell, you should be doing that anyway, despite what happened in Cyprus. And I find it kind of funny. I was looking at something I kind of skimmed some of these stories because I ain't getting good information from them. Which I could tell you a lot more stories, and I don't know how much I can really say. But it was like Zero Hedge, talking about, the Russians got their money out of the bank, out of the Cyprus ahead of time. It looks like, and they're doing an investigation. Wasn't I saying that ahead of time? I know what the deal is with Cyprus. And people, I'm not necessarily like kissing up to the CIA and George Bush and Bill Clinton in Mena, Arkansas about the drug running, but when I say Vladimir Putin's a crook and he knows what's going on with all these Russian oligarchs, I mean they're all crooked, okay, the East and the West. I mean, I know what's going on. I would say I knew they'd have their money out of it, and I was thinking, the 9.9% would go up higher because there's that much less money for them to get the haircut from, do the haircut on, right? But Jim Rogers doesn't say pull out of all your money out of the bank and run for the hills. It's kind of like he just said that as an expression, and he's not pulling all his money. He's spreading out his risk. But you'd have to be an idiot even if you didn't do some of this crap 30 years ago or more. I mean, there's more stuff coming up now, I know that, but if you should have been thinking about this garbage a long time ago. I have. I always see these people they finally make some money in business and they go to Bank of America because they feel like it's Bank of America. And I'm like, don't do that. They're fucking assholes, man. They don't work with you. Stick with a credit union. Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff. Actually, I want to show a couple of these cool guns I got, man. These are like from the 30s. Hey, they ain't got these around too much. And top loaders, man. How many? They don't have these anymore because you don't close them down, it can blow up on you or some shit. They don't make them like this anymore. But you know what these are? These aren't center fires. These are rim fires, man. You don't put a center fire primer in there. It's a rim fire, just like a 22. It's a 38 rim fire, top loader, old gun. It doesn't even. It has a patent pending on it. No, this is before the serial numbers. I keep this around for nostalgia and history. And I got one like that over here, a 32. 32. Top loader. Not too many of those around, right? And both of them too. Like if you look at the triggers, I'm kind of ad-libbing here because it's fucking. I told Putin, the tax cat, about what Jim Rogers said. And you know what he said to me? You on me out. He didn't even phase. He was like, his eyes were like this. He didn't give a shit. You're supposed to. I already thought of this crap. So, big deal. I'll tell you something else about gold and silver in a minute. But this thing's got like, when you know how the Glock has that safety crap on the trigger. Hey, both these guys have that already. This was back in the 30s, man. Back in the 30s. USA. These guns got history. They've been around, man. Look, I've seen a lot of shit. So they're given to me. So keep them. You know, I don't shoot them. And you can still get rim fire. It's not the primer in the middle. It's like the 22. It fires on the edge. You know, the round. You can still get rimfire 38 and rimfire 32. It's still around. It's pretty tough to get, but you can get it. I got stuff for that too. Pretty interesting, right? Anyway, I'm going to say this, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm going to tell you, the gold and silver, you know, I know it's suppressed, but you know what, partly why it's suppressed, it's not exactly all suppressed, it's because the middle class still ain't buying it for that much. They're buying it, but most people still aren't buying it. They're like, you know, they buy it like, they'll think, how much money is he going to give me next week? That's how most people think. Well, you know, if I buy this now, what is he going to give me, like, you know, right now? That's why they don't buy it. They're like freaking superfluous paid people. That's how a lot of people are. If I buy this right now, what's it going to do for me? So they're not buying it. It's after the curve starts going up, then you get all the silver bloggers and gold bloggers out there. They're going to convince the middle class to start buying it because look how that curve is going up, and the middle class is going to bite. And that's when you probably should be selling, but that's what's going to happen. So anyway, you know, I'm going to say there's a lot of stuff out there too, like they say the elite aren't going to lose money. The elite lose money. The elite are a bunch of freaking predators that cut each other's throats, and they do lose money between each other. As a matter of fact, pretty much even any big businessman, they'll have like a bunch of lawsuits and crap and legal battles going on at all times. That's just how it is. They're always fighting with somebody. All the time. The elite do lose money. But the reason they're the elite is because they're like total predators and they're very competitive and they're always looking out for more and more and more. So in other words, actually most people, if they got that kind of money, they couldn't hang on to it. Not in a million years. It's like a hot potato. They couldn't do it. Most people just couldn't do it. No way in hell. Even if they say they just threw it in the bank. Because you'd find out that ain't safe, right? That ain't safe. But you know, there's a lot of weird shit out there, man. I could probably tell you a little couple stories about something. One was a professor, it's a PhD, and he's got a company in Switzerland, also a trading company. And there's a lot of private deals they do that aren't open to the public. And actually, he's Iranian, but he's related to the Shah's family, the Shah of Iran. Now you think he's an evil guy right away because he's related. Well, I'll tell you something, man. You know, from what I don't understand all that stuff that's going on in the Middle East, but I do understand one thing about the Baha'i faith. That faith gets persecuted over there in Iran, and they really don't do nothing. Now, right now, I know I'm pissing off a bunch of people because, you know, Iran's perfect, right? But, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, the Baha'i faith, they don't do nothing wrong. They're too small. You know? It's like, nothing's like cut and dry everywhere. Nothing's like that. Nothing's cut and dry. So, but I'm going to tell you, like, a lot of people don't understand what's going on behind the scenes, and even the people that do understand what's going on behind the scenes, they don't know what the hell's going on with the other guys. Nobody does. But I would not worry too much about pulling all your money out of the bank right now. I mean, I personally have been telling people for freaking 40 years, don't use Bank of America, Chase Manhattan, and the Citibank, and all those other asshole banks that are real big. I don't like them. I use the credit union. But I've been saying that for like 40 years practically, you know. I don't use that stuff. I don't use that shit. So, but nothing's going to fall apart that fast. And gold and silver are not going up just because it's manipulated. It's because the middle class ain't buying it yet. They're the ones that are going to drive the price up, and they're the suckers. The middle class are going to be the suckers who buy it high. That's why this stuff with gold and silver is not. It's not going to like help the overall. It's going to help you guys right now that are in it right now and you're being patient. But you know, no Wall. You're never going to sell it to a Wall Street shark. It's going to wind up being another middle class person. That's why I keep saying about this hemp stuff. This hemp stuff and medicinal marijuana actually is something that's going to help the middle class overall. The gold and silver, it's going to be a transfer of wealth. But we personally, even us who have gold and silver right now, we don't know where the height's going to be. Because the final blow-off height is going to be probably a lot higher than you think, and it's going to go a lot faster than you think, unexpectedly, and it's going to crash like crazy, like unexpectedly too, at the very end. So, you know, it's a guessing game even for us, but right now we know it's too low. But the ones that are really going to get screwed on gold and silver ultimately are going to be the middle class. So I'm going to say this. There's going to be the big guys are going to be using some part of the actual financial and banking system to store their wealth. I don't know what that part is right now, to tell you the truth. I don't know. But it ain't going to be your safety. It's not going to be totally in gold and silver. Right now it is. Right now it is. But ultimately it will not be. So anyway, just believe me, I'm right on with this shit. Just I don't people like, you're wrong, but I don't know, I'm right on with this shit. The big guys aren't going to just all jump into gold and silver. It's going to be middle class. They're going to use something else. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something else. That's for sure.